Welcome back to First Step to Love, a clean, no-spice, cozy romance novella with rom-com humor by Lani Evans. Don't forget to subscribe and give this chapter a thumbs up if you're enjoying the story. Your support helps me bring you more green flag romance with humor and heart. Now, let's head back to Asheville, North Carolina, and pick up where we left off with Lila and Desmond. Chapter 1. Lila. The morning sun streams through the front windows of Honey Ridge Coffee Shop, transforming the honey jars on our display shelf into amber beacons. I adjust my apron, tightening the strings around my waist for the third time this morning, a nervous habit I can't seem to shake. "Oat milk latte for Jennifer!" I call out, placing the carefully crafted drink on the pickup counter. The breakfast rush is in full swing, but my gaze keeps drifting to the window. Another group of hikers passes by, their backpacks loaded with gear and walking poles clicking against the sidewalk. They're probably headed to the trail entrance just 2 blocks away. My phone sits heavily in my apron pocket, filled with open browser tabs about starting a hiking blog, as if I know the first thing about serious hiking. Still, I can't help but imagine what it would be like to be out there, discovering hidden waterfalls and secret viewpoints, camera in hand, sharing those moments with others who dream of adventure but don't know where to begin, instead of in here, making safe decisions and fueling people's coffee addictions.
Earth to Lila.
Sarah waves her hand in front of my face, grinning.
That's the second time you've wiped down the same spot on the counter. Those hikers catch your eye again?
Heat creeps up my neck as I quickly move to the espresso machine to start on the next order. "Just making sure it's clean," I reply, but we both know that's not the whole story. Around 10, the morning rush begins to ebb, as usual. I lean against the counter, absently rearranging the pastry display while my other hand hovers over my phone. The hiking blog I discovered last night, Blue Ridge Beginner, is still open in my browser, showcasing stunning mountain vistas and detailed trail guides.
You're doing that thing again,
Sarah says, bumping my hip with hers as she slides past to restock the paper cups. Her blonde ponytail swings with each movement, precise and purposeful, unlike my perpetually messy bun that's threatening to collapse. "What thing?" I ask.
That dreamy, faraway look. Like your soul has already left the building and gone hiking without the rest of you.
She pauses, studying me with the kind of attention she usually reserves for perfecting latte art.
Why don't you just do it?
Just then, the bell above the door chimes, saving me from having to answer. A group of hikers stream in, their faces flushed from exertion and the morning chill. They smell like pine needles and adventure, carrying that energy I've come to recognize as the satisfaction of having accomplished something meaningful before most people have started on their first coffee of the day. "Welcome to Honey Ridge!" I straighten up, grateful for the distraction. "What can I get started for you?" The tallest one, a woman with gray-streaked hair pulled back in a practical braid, steps forward.
4 Americanos, please.
She squints at our pastry case.
And what do you recommend for post-hike refueling?
"Our banana bread is made fresh every morning," I say, reaching for the cups. "It's got walnuts and local honey, perfect for replenishing your energy."
Sold.
She replies, and her companions nod in agreement.
You seem to know your stuff. Are you a hiker too?
I feel my cheeks warm as I punch in their order. "Oh, no, not really. I mean, I'd like to be, but..." I trail off, concentrating on the familiar routine of making their drinks. The espresso machine hisses and steams, its rhythm as comforting as my own heartbeat.
Everyone starts somewhere.
She says kindly.
The trails aren't going anywhere. They'll be there when you're ready.
When you're ready. The words echo in my mind as I finish their drinks and wrap up their banana bread. I watch them leave, their easy camaraderie evident in their laughing conversation about the morning's hike. During my break, I retreat to the small back office and pull up my laptop, the same one I've had since college, covered in stickers from places I dream of visiting. My fingers hover over the keyboard as I stare at the blank document titled Blog Ideas. Who am I kidding? I close the laptop with more force than necessary. I take pictures of other people's coffee orders and occasionally walk in the park. What could I possibly have to say about hiking that anyone would want to read? The afternoon brings another wave of customers, remote workers seeking caffeine and Wi-Fi, tourists asking for local recommendations, and more hikers with their infectious energy. With each group that passes through, I add mental notes to my ever-growing list of maybes and what-ifs. Sarah catches me checking the weather forecast for the weekend during a lull.
Saturday's supposed to be perfect.
She says, reading over my shoulder.
Clear skies, low 60s.
I'm just curious, I mumble, quickly switching back to the inventory spreadsheet.
Lila.
She sits on the edge of my desk, blocking my view of the computer screen.
You've been just curious about hiking for months now. You light up every time someone mentions a trail name. Your camera's collecting dust and your hiking boots, yes, I've seen them in your car, are still in the box.
It's not that simple, I protest, but my words sound weak even to my own ears.
It actually is.
She counters.
Look, start small. Bent Creek Trail is literally 15 minutes from here. It's basically a walk in the woods with better views. What's the worst that could happen?
I could get lost. I could look stupid. I could start this whole thing and fail spectacularly. The list of potential disasters runs through my mind like a well-rehearsed script. The afternoon rush beckons, and I escape back to the familiar comfort of steamed milk and espresso shots. But as I craft another perfect rosetta in a customer's latte, I can't shake the image of those pristine hiking boots in my car, or the neglected camera in its bag, waiting for vistas more inspiring than the view through our coffee shop windows. The rest of my shift passes in the usual blur of coffee orders and small talk, but something feels different. Maybe it's the way the late afternoon sun glints off my copper pendant, a compass-shaped gift from my mom for my last birthday, accompanied by a note that read, "Find your path. Real subtle, Mom." I'm wiping down the espresso machine for closing when my phone buzzes with another notification from the hiking blog I follow. 5 easy trails for Asheville beginners. My finger hovers over the link before I swipe it away.
Order for pickup.
Sarah calls from the register.
Under the name,
She squints at the ticket.
Lila?
What? I look up, confused. I haven't ordered anything. With a grin, Sarah hands me a paper bag. Inside is one of our trail mix cookies, a recipe of mine that's surprisingly popular, along with a note scrawled in her looping handwriting.
Fuel for your first adventure? No more excuses.
Sarah.
Before you say anything,
She interrupts, raising both hands.
just hear me out. You've been making everyone else's coffee dreams come true for 2 years now. Maybe it's time to pour some of that energy into your own dreams?
I touch the edge of the bag, thinking about the camera in my car and the boots in my trunk, as well as the dozens of hiking guides bookmarked on my phone. What if I'm terrible at it?
Then you'll be terrible at it.
She shrugs, starting to stack chairs.
But at least you'll be terrible at something new and exciting instead of just being predictably terrible.
Ouch. I laugh, and something in my chest loosens just a fraction. As I help with the closing routine, wiping tables, restocking supplies, counting the register, I keep thinking about what the hiker said this morning. The trails aren't going anywhere. They'll be there when you're ready. Maybe being ready isn't about feeling confident. Maybe it's simply about being tired enough of standing still. Later in my car, I pull out my phone one last time. Before I can second-guess myself, my fingers type out a new note. Blog post number 1, Confessions of a Wannabe Hiker. Step 1, admit you're scared. Step 2, do it anyway. I glance at my hiking boots in the rearview mirror, still pristine in their box. Saturday, I whisper, making a promise. Saturday morning, first thing. The setting sun paints the mountains in the distance with strokes of purple and gold, and for the first time in months, my reflection in the rearview mirror shows someone who looks less lost and more eager. Maybe Sarah's right. Maybe it really is that simple. I start my car, but instead of turning left toward home, I turn right, toward trail stop. If I'm going to do this, I should at least get proper hiking socks, and maybe a trail map, and perhaps a water bottle that isn't covered in coffee stains. After all, every journey begins with a single step. Or in my case, a single purchase of moisture-wicking socks.
Chapter 2. Desmond. I'm pretty sure I'm wearing my hydration pack backward. The straps keep sliding off my shoulders, and the tube thing is definitely not supposed to be whacking me in the face every time I move. But hey, the YouTube tutorial made it look easy, and the sales guy at the Trail Stop Outfitters assured me this was essential gear for hiking. Standing in line at the Honey Ridge coffee shop, I try to casually adjust the straps without looking like I'm having a wrestling match with my own backpack. The woman in front of me keeps throwing concerned glances over her shoulder. I can't blame her. I probably look like a malfunctioning hiking robot.
Welcome to Honey Ridge.
The barista's warm, friendly voice is a stark contrast to my current state of controlled chaos.
What can I get started for you?
I step forward, almost tripping over my brand new hiking boots, which, by the way, nobody mentioned would be this stiff, and find myself face to face with a pair of kind green eyes and a name tag that reads Lila. Hi, I squint at the menu board, trying to decipher what feels like a foreign language. What would you recommend for someone who's about to attempt their first hike and is seriously questioning their life choices? A smile tugs at the corner of her mouth.
That depends. Are we talking casual nature walk or scaling Mount Mitchell before lunch?
Honestly, I wrestle with the hydration pack's tube again. I have no idea. I just moved here from Chicago, bought all this gear online, and now I'm realizing I probably should have done this in reverse order. Figure out the hike first, then buy the gear. She actually laughs at that, but it's not unkind.
Well, you came to the right place, both for coffee and hiking advice. But let's start with the coffee,
she says, her eyes twinkling.
Something tells me you could use the caffeine before we tackle the hiking situation.
Yes, please. I lean against the counter, trying to look casual despite the backpack's persistent attempts to throw me off balance. Whatever you recommend. I'm usually a plain coffee kind of guy, but today feels more like a help me look less like a walking sporting goods store explosion kind of day. She starts crafting something with practiced ease.
So what brought you to Asheville, besides our amazing hiking trails that you haven't tried yet?
Work, actually. I'm a software developer. Remote work? Figured if I could live anywhere, why not somewhere with mountains? I watch her hands move confidently between different machines and containers. Chicago's great, but the highest elevation there is the Willis Tower observation deck.
Here you go.
She slides a steaming cup across the counter.
Honey lavender latte, calming, energizing, and very Asheville.
I take a sip and my eyebrows shoot up. Okay, wow. This is nothing like my usual sad microwave coffee.
I'll take that as a compliment.
She grins. The morning rush seems to have died down, and she leans forward slightly.
Now, about that hiking situation. Want to tell me what trails you were thinking about?
Well, I pull out my phone, opening the Notes app, where I've saved approximately 37 different trail names. I was thinking maybe Mount Mitchell, or that Dragon's Backbone thing everyone talks about. Her eyes widen slightly.
Dragon's Backbone? You mean Dragon's Tooth? That's actually in Virginia, and definitely not for beginners.
She studies my obviously new gear.
How about we start with something a little more survivable?
That obvious, huh? I gesture to my mismatched ensemble. The videos made it look so simple, though none of them mention that hiking boots feel like wearing cement blocks.
They need breaking in,
she explains, then glances at the clock.
Look, my break's in 10 minutes. If you don't mind waiting, I could actually draw you a map of some good starter trails.
That would be amazing, I say, probably too enthusiastically. But hey, when you're drowning in hiking gear and confusion, you grab any lifeline you can get. I promise to buy another one of these magical lattes in return. She laughs again, and I notice a few freckles across her nose when she smiles.
Deal. Why don't you grab a seat by the window? Just try not to get tangled in your hydration pack on the way.
I make my way to a small table, only slightly stumbling over my own boots. Through the window, I watch actual hikers pass by, looking completely at ease in their gear. They make it look effortless, like they were born wearing moisture-wicking fabrics and knowing how to use carabiners. 10 minutes later, Lila appears at my table with another latte and a handful of napkins. She's pulled her auburn hair back into what might be an even messier bun than before, but somehow it works.
Okay, hiking 101.
She says, spreading out the napkins and starting to draw what looks like a map.
These are the trails I'd recommend for beginners. Bent Creek is basically a nice walk in the woods, perfect for breaking in those boots. And this one,
She draws another line.
is the Botanical Gardens Trail. Short, sweet, and you can pretend you're there for the plants if the hiking part doesn't work out.
You seem to know a lot about this, I say, watching her add little landmarks to her napkin map. She pauses, a flicker of uncertainty crossing her face.
Actually, I'm kind of new to it too. I mean, I know the trails from customer stories, but I haven't really...
She trails off, tapping her pen against the napkin. No way! You seem so confident that I thought you were some kind of hiking guru?
Hardly.
She snorts.
I've got the boots and everything, but they're still sitting in my car, tags attached.
An idea hits me, probably the kind of impulsive thought that my sister would tell me to sleep on first. But hey, I moved to Asheville on a whim, so clearly impulse control isn't my strong suit. We should go together, the words burst out before I can second guess them. Think about it. You know the trails in theory, and I have all this ridiculous gear I don't know how to use. Together, we might add up to one functional hiker. She bites her lip, considering.
I don't know.
Come on, I press, feeling oddly excited about this possibility. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, considering you're wearing your hydration pack backward?
She points out, but a smile tugs at her lips. See? Perfect example. You could help me figure out which way is up, and I could, I glance down at my gear, trying to think of what I bring to this potential partnership. I could carry extra snacks? She laughs, shaking her head.
You're ridiculous.
I prefer to think of it as charmingly unprepared. I give her my best hopeful look. What do you say? Saturday morning? We could start with your Bent Creek suggestion. I promise to only fall down a reasonable number of times. There's a brief moment of hesitation, and I can almost see her weighing the pros and cons. Finally, she pulls out her phone.
Saturday,
She says, trying to sound firm but not quite hiding her smile.
8 a.m. I'm bringing a friend. Oh, and I'm also bringing a first aid kit.
Probably wise. I grin as I program her number into my phone. I should warn you, though, I'm probably going to get lost trying to find the trailhead.
Good thing I know where it is then.
She stands up, straightening her apron.
At least in theory.
That's a start. What snacks should I bring? I ask.
Pancakes.
Lila says with a laugh as she rolls her eyes and walks back to her counter. As I leave the coffee shop, hydration pack still backward but spirit considerably lifted, I think that maybe getting lost isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it leads you exactly where you need to be, even if you're wearing your gear wrong when you get there.
Chapter 3. Lila. I arrive at the Bent Creek trailhead 20 minutes early, partly because I'm anxious and partly because I spent half the night checking and rechecking my backpack. My hiking boots still feel stiff, but at least I know I'm wearing them correctly, which is more than I can say for Desmond when he pulls into the parking lot in a shiny Subaru that probably hasn't seen a speck of mud yet. I have to press my lips together to keep from laughing when he steps out.
Good morning.
He calls cheerfully, apparently oblivious to the fact that he looks like he's prepared for a month-long expedition into the wilderness. His backpack is literally twice the size of mine, with various items dangling from carabiners. And Tell me that isn't a small frying pan. Planning to cook breakfast on the trail? I tease, pointing at the pan. He glances over his shoulder, looking slightly embarrassed.
The hiking website said to be prepared for anything, though now that you mention it, I might have gone a bit overboard.
Just a bit, I agree, watching him struggle to adjust the straps of his enormous pack. You do know this is only a 3-mile loop, right?
Is it too late to pretend I totally knew that?
He grins sheepishly, and something in my chest does a little flip. Must be nervous excitement about the hike. I step closer to help him adjust his pack straps, trying not to notice how he smells like coffee and something woodsy. Here, let me show you how to wear this properly, unless you're planning to start a new hiking trend with that backward look.
I was thinking of calling it reverse chic,
He jokes, standing still while I fix the straps.
though I have to admit it's more comfortable this way.
As I'm showing him how to properly secure the chest strap, a group of experienced hikers pass by, their lightweight gear and confident strides making Desmond's overpacked ensemble even more conspicuous. One of them gives us an amused look, and I feel oddly protective. Ready to hit the trail? I ask, stepping back and pulling out the map I printed last night, even though I've memorized this route from all the times I've dreamed of hiking it. Desmond nods enthusiastically, takes one step, and promptly trips over his own boots. This is going to be an interesting morning.
Hope we're not late.
Sarah's voice rings out across the parking lot. She's walking toward us with Jake, one of our regular morning customers from the coffee shop and our local outdoor gear shop expert. Perfect. Leave it to Sarah to think of bringing someone who actually knows what they're doing. Perfect timing, I say, relief flooding through me. Not that I was particularly nervous about hiking alone with this stranger. Okay, maybe I was a little nervous. Desmond, this is Sarah from the coffee shop, and Jake, our resident mountain guru. Jake raises an eyebrow at Desmond's expedition-sized backpack, but manages to keep a straight face.
Nice setup you've got there, man. Planning to summit Everest after this?
Is it that obvious?
Desmond laughs, taking the gentle teasing in stride.
I'm beginning to think maybe I overdid it with the gear.
Just a tad.
Sarah comments, adjusting her simple day pack. She shoots me a knowing look that I deliberately ignore.
But hey, better over-prepared than under-prepared, right?
Jake steps forward, his experienced eye sizing up our little group.
Mind if I take the lead? I know this trail like the back of my hand.
Please do, I reply, secretly grateful for his presence. Despite memorizing the trail map, having someone who's actually hiked it before makes me feel more confident. We start down the trail, Jake in front, then Desmond, still occasionally stumbling over his boots, with Sarah and me bringing up the rear. The morning sun filters through the trees, and I pull out my camera to capture the way the light dances through the leaves.
So,
Sarah whispers as she falls into step beside me.
this is the guy from the coffee shop? The one who couldn't figure out his hydration pack?
Shh, I hiss, though Desmond is too busy listening to Jake's explanation of trail markers to hear us. He's nice, and at least he's trying.
Oh, he's trying all right.
Sarah smirks.
Trying to impress someone, maybe?
Before I can respond, Desmond interrupts our whispered conversation.
Hey Lila, is this one of those photo-worthy spots you were talking about?
He's pointing to a small clearing where the morning light creates a perfect spotlight on a cluster of wildflowers. Despite his obvious newbie status on the trail, he noticed something I almost missed while deflecting Sarah's teasing. Actually, yes, I say, moving forward to capture the shot. The light is perfect right now. As I frame the picture, I can feel Desmond watching with genuine interest, while Sarah shoots meaningful glances at Jake that she probably thinks I can't see. We set off again, and somehow Desmond has gone ahead of us and disappeared around the bend, leaving our sight. Sarah and I look at each other, rolling our eyes. If this trail wasn't an easy one, he might meet his demise out here.
Guys,
Jake calls from up ahead.
you might want to see this.
We round a bend in the trail to find that Desmond's frying pan has somehow worked its way loose from his pack, leaving a trail of camping supplies behind us like some kind of outdoorsy Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, man.
Desmond groans, his face flushing as Jake helps him gather the scattered supplies.
I swear I attached everything just like the YouTube video showed.
Was it perhaps a video about what not to do?
Sarah teases, helping to collect a wayward camp towel. I bite back a smile and quickly snap a photo of Desmond trying to stuff everything back into his pack. When he looks up and catches me watching, I shrug. For the hiking blog. I'm going to call it What Not to Pack for a Day Hike.
You're starting a hiking blog?
His face lights up despite his embarrassment.
That's awesome.
Oh, she's been planning it forever.
Sarah chimes in, ignoring my warning glance.
She just needed the right motivation to actually start hiking instead of just reading about it.
Jake finishes securing Desmond's gear, giving the straps a final tug.
There. That should hold until we reach the overlook. Speaking of which, we should keep moving if we want to get there before the good morning light disappears. Lila, you'll want to make sure your camera is ready for that view.
We fall into an easy rhythm as we climb. The trail gets steeper, and Desmond's breathing gets heavier under the weight of his oversized pack, but he keeps up a steady stream of questions about the local flora that Jake seems happy to answer. I hang back slightly, taking photos of interesting fungi and the way sunlight dapples the forest floor. Sarah says quietly as we navigate around a fallen log.
You know, he's kind of adorable in a completely clueless way.
I hadn't noticed, I lie, focusing my camera on a particularly interesting tree trunk.
Right.
She drawls.
Just like you haven't noticed how he keeps looking back at you.
Before I can respond, Desmond's voice drifts back to us.
Quick question. Are we supposed to go left or right at this fork?
Jake jogs up to where Desmond is standing, studying a trail marker with the intensity of someone trying to decode ancient hieroglyphics.
Left leads to the overlook. Right takes you on the 6-mile loop.
Oh, thank goodness.
Desmond wipes his brow dramatically.
I don't think my shoulders could handle another 6 miles with this pack. How do you all make it look so easy?
Practice.
Jake replies.
And significantly less gear.
And proper hiking boots that are actually broken in, I add, noticing Desmond's slight limp. He looks down at his feet sheepishly.
Yeah, I might have some blisters forming. But hey, at least I remembered to wear socks.
The bar is so very low.
Sarah mutters, making me snort. The trail gets steeper as we approach the overlook, and the conversation dies down as we all focus on our breathing. Well, mostly Desmond's breathing, which has taken on an alarming wheeze under the weight of his pack.
Almost there.
Jake encourages.
Just around this bend.
When we finally emerge onto the overlook, the view literally stops me in my tracks. The morning sun bathes the Blue Ridge Mountains in golden light, with layers of peaks fading into misty blue distances. My camera is already raised, capturing the moment before I even consciously think about it.
Wow.
Desmond breathes, dropping his pack with a heavy thud.
This makes the blisters worth it.
I lower my camera and look at him. Exertion is evident from the sweat beading on his forehead and his slightly mussed hair, but his expression of pure wonder mirrors exactly how I feel. For a moment, we just stand there, soaking it all in.
So,
He finally says.
think this would make a good first blog post?
Maybe, I reply, surprised to find that I'm actually considering it. Though I might leave out the part about the runaway frying pan.
Please don't.
He grins.
That's the best part. Local man attempts hiking, creates first ever trail scavenger hunt with camping supplies.
Sarah and Jake have moved to the far end of the overlook, giving us space while they share water and trail mix. I pretend not to notice Sarah's not-so-subtle thumbs up behind Desmond's back.
You know,
Desmond says, lowering his voice.
despite my complete lack of hiking skills, I'm really glad I did this, even if I'm pretty sure I won't be able to lift my arms tomorrow.
I smile. Me too, though next time, maybe leave the portable kitchen at home.
Next time, huh?
His eyes crinkle at the corners when he smiles.
Does this mean I haven't completely scared you away from hiking with my stunning display of outdoor skills?
Let's see if you make it back to the trailhead first, I tease, but we both know I mean yes. Jake calls us over for a group photo, and as we squeeze together with the mountains behind us, I realize something. For the first time in months, maybe years, I'm not just dreaming about adventure. I'm actually having one, even if it's just a beginner trail. Sometimes the first step really is the hardest part, even if that step involves following a trail of dropped camping supplies. The descent is easier physically but trickier on the ankles, as Jake explains while we carefully pick our way down. Desmond has given up any pretense of dignity and is using his oversized pack as a conversation piece, asking passing hikers if they'd like to see any cooking demonstrations. Sarah sidles up beside me while I photograph a patch of mountain laurel.
So, coffee shop's going to be interesting tomorrow.
Why's that? I ask.
Because your hiking buddy there mentioned he works remotely and needs a good spot with Wi-Fi.
She waggles her eyebrows.
Guess where he's planning to set up his mobile office?
I nearly drop my camera. He didn't.
Oh, he did. He asked Jake all about our peak business hours and everything.
Before I can process this information, Desmond calls out from ahead of us.
Hey Lila, is this mushroom supposed to be glowing like this?
Don't touch anything! Jake and I shout simultaneously, hurrying forward. False alarm. It's just the sun hitting some morning dew. But Desmond's sheepish grin makes me laugh despite myself. His enthusiasm is infectious, even if it might accidentally kill him. As we approach the parking lot, our conversation shifts to post-hike plans. Jake, predictably, suggests our coffee shop, and I pretend not to notice how quickly Desmond agrees.
I should probably get some work done anyway,
He says, perhaps a bit too casually.
You know, since I'm still on Chicago time and all.
Right.
Sarah drawls.
Work? Nothing to do with our excellent coffee, I'm sure.
The parking lot comes into view through the trees, bringing with it the realization that this morning actually happened. I actually hiked. I took photos that weren't through coffee shop windows. I even have witnesses to prove it.
Thanks for not laughing too hard at my gear situation,
Desmond says as we reach our cars. He's struggling to extract himself from his backpack without toppling over.
And for the photos, you'll send them to me?
Sure, I reply, suddenly aware that Sarah and Jake have mysteriously disappeared for a moment. Though I might keep the frying pan incident as blackmail material. He laughs, finally managing to free himself from his pack.
Fair enough, so, see you later at the coffee shop. For work purposes only, obviously.
Obviously, I smile, feeling something warm and unexpected unfurling in my chest. Just don't expect me to let you hook up a camp stove to make your own coffee. Since Sarah rode with Jake to the hike, she caught a ride back with me.
Jake and I are just friends, and I don't want it to be weird,
She had told me. But that isn't the reason she abandoned the cute mountain guru she's been crushing on for months now. The drive is filled with Sarah's knowing looks and her endless commentary about cute tech guys who can't tell a trail marker from a tree stump. But I barely listen, already mentally composing my first blog post. Sometimes the best adventures start with all the wrong gear and all the right people. Even if one of those people brings a frying pan on a 3-mile hike.
Chapter 4. Desmond. Over the past 6 weeks, I've learned 3 important things about hiking in Asheville. First, not every green plant is safe to touch. My poison ivy rash is finally clearing up. Thanks for asking. Second, trail ratings are suggestions, not challenges. My knees still haven't forgiven me for that moderate trail that felt more like scaling Mount Doom. And third, watching Lila light up when she gets the perfect photo makes every blister and wrong turn worth it.
Desmond, please tell me you're not touching any more suspicious plants.
Lila says from behind her camera lens. We're on the Graveyard Fields Trail today, our 7th hike together. Not that I'm counting. I've reformed, I say, but my objection falls flat as I quickly pull my hand back from what I am almost certain is just a regular fern. Besides, The urgent care nurse made me promise to stop playing Name That Rash with the local flora. Sarah, who's joined us for about half our hikes, snorts from up ahead. Jake, who tags along when he's not working, chuckles beside her.
Remember when he tried to eat those berries?
Sarah says between peals of laughter. They looked exactly like blueberries. I defend myself, though I can feel my ears getting hot.
They were blue.
Lila corrects, lowering her camera to give me that look I've come to know well, part exasperation, part amusement.
That's where the similarity ended.
I've spent enough mornings working from the coffee shop now to recognize the subtle differences in her smiles. There's the professional one she gives to customers, the genuine one when she's excited about a photo she's taken, and this one, the one that seems reserved for when I'm being particularly hopeless at outdoor survival. At least I remembered proper hiking socks today, I point out, carefully picking my way over some rocks. My boots are finally broken in, and I've downsized my backpack to something more reasonable. No more portable kitchen equipment, though I maintain that the frying pan incident will make an excellent chapter in my future memoir.
Small victories.
Lila agrees, then suddenly grabs my arm.
Wait, stay right there. The light is perfect.
I freeze mid-step, probably looking ridiculous, but I've learned not to question her photographer's instincts. Plus, her hand is still on my arm, and I'm trying very hard not to think about that.
Got it.
She shows me the photo. Somehow she's captured the morning mist curling around my feet, making it look like I actually know what I'm doing out here.
This one's definitely going on the blog.
Ah yes, the blog. It's gained a small but dedicated following over the past month, mostly because Lila has a talent for making our mishaps sound charming rather than catastrophic. My personal favorite post was titled 5 Things Not to Do on Mountain Trails, as demonstrated by my hiking partner. Speaking of the blog, I say as we continue along the trail, have you given any more thought to that sponsorship offer from the local outdoor gear shop? She bites her lip. A habit I've learned over the last few weeks means she's wrestling with self-doubt.
I don't know. It feels presumptuous, you know? I've only been hiking for 6 weeks.
6 weeks longer than half your readers, I point out. Besides, your photos are amazing and people love your honest take on being a beginner. Sarah, who's been pretending not to eavesdrop, chimes in.
He's right, Lai. Your post about proper hiking shoes convinced 3 of our regular customers to finally buy boots.
That's only because I used Desmond's blisters as a cautionary tale.
Lila laughs, pausing to photograph a patch of wildflowers. I've learned to appreciate these brief stops, not just because they're good photo opportunities, but because they give me a chance to catch my breath without being obvious about it. I'm happy to continue being your what not to do example, I offer, pulling out my water bottle. Though I'd like to point out that I correctly identified poison oak yesterday.
After you'd already touched it?
Sarah mutters. Details, details. The trail opens up to a clearing and I recognize the look on Lila's face. She's already composing the shot in her mind. I hang back watching her work. She moves differently when she's behind the camera, more confident, like she forgets to be self-conscious.
You're staring.
Sarah whispers as she passes by. I'm observing the artistic process, I whisper back, but my refusal to make eye contact probably gives me away. The morning unfolds like most of our hikes do now. Lila photographs while teaching me about composition and light. I provide comic relief by tripping over obvious roots, and Sarah alternates between genuine hiking advice and making subtle comments that leaves Lila blushing and my neck growing uncomfortably hot. During our water break, Lila shows me how to use her spare camera, explaining terms like aperture and shutter speed. I'm only half listening, more focused on how animated she gets when talking about photography, but I managed to take a decent shot of a nearby stream.
Not bad for a guy who thought HDR was a type of trail mix.
She teases while reviewing my photo. I have developed a certain knowledge, I say solemnly. Also, I Googled photography terms before I came today. Her laugh echoes through the trees, and something in my chest does that flippy thing it's been doing more frequently lately. I'm not quite ready to examine that too closely yet.
Remember our first hike?
Sarah asks, pulling trail mix, the actual kind, from her pack.
When Desmond brought enough gear to supply a small expedition?
Hey, I've improved, I protest. I haven't brought a single piece of cooking equipment in at least 3 weeks.
True progress.
Lila agrees.
Though I kind of miss the frying pan. It made a great trail marker when it kept falling off your pack.
We reach the waterfall that marks our halfway point, and I manage to set up my tripod without dropping it in the water, another sign of progress. Lila's been teaching me about long exposure shots, and I'm determined to get at least one decent photo today. You know, I say, fiddling with the camera settings. I actually signed up for a basic photography class at the community center.
Really?
Lila looks genuinely surprised and pleased. Yeah, well, I figured if I'm going to be your hiking partner, I should at least know what an f-stop is. I don't mention that I signed up mainly because of how her face lights up when she talks about photography.
Partner in crime, more like.
She bumps my shoulder playfully.
Remember last week when we accidentally led that tour group the wrong way?
In my defense, all trees look the same.
They really don't.
Sarah calls from where she's setting up our lunch spot. The conversation flows easily as we eat, sharing stories from the past few weeks. Lila talks about her latest blog post ideas, and I tell them about my disastrous attempt to join a local running group. The mountains are different from Chicago treadmills. Who knew?
Oh,
Lila suddenly sits up straighter.
I almost forgot. Jake mentioned there's a sunset hike next weekend. Nothing too strenuous, but supposedly the views are amazing.
My heart does that flippy thing again. Sounds great, though fair warning, my night hiking skills might be even worse than my day hiking skills.
Impossible.
Sarah mutters, the hint of a smile breaking through. Chapter 5. Desmond. As we pack up to head back, I catch Lila looking at her blog stats again. 200 new followers this week. I peek over her shoulder. Told you people would love it,
Thanks.
she says softly, her voice holding more than just gratitude for the comment about the blog. It's as if she's thanking me for something deeper, and I let the moment linger. If anything, I should be the one thanking her, for teaching me, for laughing with and sometimes at me, for making Asheville feel like home in a way I didn't think possible. The hike back is quieter, comfortable in the way things have become between us. I only tripped twice, a personal record, and Lila only has to stop me from touching one questionable plant. Definitely progress. In the parking lot, Sarah makes a suspiciously quick exit, leaving Lila and me to our usual post-hike ritual of comparing photos and planning next week's adventure. Same time next Saturday? I ask, trying to sound casual. Before the sunset hike, I mean.
Wouldn't miss it.
She smiles and I pretend my heart doesn't skip a beat.
Someone has to keep you from eating mysterious berries.
There's a moment, one of those moments that seems to stretch like honey dripping from a spoon, where neither of us moves to leave. The late afternoon sun catches in her hair, turning the messy bun into a copper halo, and I notice a smudge of dirt on her cheek from when she'd knelt to photograph some mushrooms. Without thinking, I reach out to brush it away, and for a heartbeat it feels like the only sound is the space between us. You've got a little, I murmur, my thumb grazing her cheekbone. She looks up at me, her green eyes wide and questioning, and all the clever words I usually have ready desert me completely, leaving my mind blank and my heart pounding with an intensity I can't quite control. I lean in slowly, giving her every possible opportunity to step back, to laugh it off, to pretend this is just another moment between hiking buddies. But she doesn't step back. Instead, she stays perfectly still, the faintest flicker of something I can't name passing through her gaze. Every sound around us, the rustling leaves, the distant chirp of a bird, even the crunch of gravel under unseen boots, fades into a low, indistinct hum as the rest of the world seems to fall away, leaving only the two of us in this impossibly small and infinitely vast moment. The mingling scents of pine needles, earth, and something faintly floral, perhaps the lavender in her shampoo, swirl around us, calming and intoxicating all at once, grounding me even as the rest of the world spins away. I stop just a breath away, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from her, and hesitate. My gaze flickers down to her lips, which part slightly as her breath catches, a sound so soft and yet so achingly audible that it sends my pulse racing, a heady mix of anticipation and uncertainty. She tilts her head, just enough to answer the unspoken question I didn't realize I was asking. Time stretches, impossibly slow, until it feels like forever and no time at all. Then, drawn by a force I can't resist, I close the distance. Her lips are softer than I imagined, a feather-light touch that sends a jolt through me. There's a faint hint of salt, a reminder of the trail mix we shared, mingling with something uniquely her own, and for a heartbeat we both hold still, as if the world itself has paused to take in this moment with us. When her hand brushes against mine, our fingers tangle briefly before she lifts her palm to rest against my collarbone. Her touch is tentative. Her fingertips cool from the crisp air, a sharp contrast to the warmth blooming between us. The kiss deepens, still unhurried, as though we're savoring every second. The soft sigh that escapes her lips pulls at something deep in my soul, a perfect blend of vulnerability and trust I dare not break. My other hand finds her waist, the give of her jacket beneath my palm yielding to the subtle curve of her hip, grounding me further in this moment. The world around us fades completely, all sounds blurring into the now silent background, indistinct and unreal in this dreamlike moment. All I can focus on is the way her lips move against mine, hesitant at first, then bolder, as if she's discovering something extraordinary for the first time. A cool breeze brushes the back of my neck, but does nothing to temper the heat building in my chest. Holding her like this, here in my arms, feels like the first right thing I've done in a long time, something I know will haunt my memory long after this moment ends. Her hand slides to the back of my neck, sending a shiver racing down my spine, a reminder that this isn't a dream, but a moment as real and vivid as the sun on my face, as though she's drawing me closer in every way that truly matters. And just when I'm ready to lose myself completely in her kisses, she pulls back ever so slightly, her lips lingering against mine for a heartbeat longer before her eyes meet mine again. Her cheeks are flushed, her green eyes bright and searching, as if she's trying to etch every detail into memory. I smile with the knowledge that this moment matters to her as much as it does to me. Still dazed, I lean back against my car, drawing her closer as I claim her lips again, the soft pressure of her hand tugging on my collar, pulling me in like a tether. This is perfect. This is everything I never expected. We jump apart as my car alarm suddenly goes off, echoing through the parking lot. Apparently, I press the panic button on my keys in my pocket. Seriously? You've got to be kidding me. I fumble with the keys, dropping them twice before finally silencing the alarm and opening my car door. Nearby hikers are staring, and Lila's shoulders shake as she holds back a laugh.
Smooth.
She manages to say between giggles.
Very romantic. The car alarm really sets the mood.
I was aiming for memorable, I say, my face burning. Nothing says true romance like a parking lot serenade by Subaru. She steps closer again, still laughing, and rises on her tiptoes to press another quick kiss to my lips.
Definitely memorable.
So, I rock back on my heels, suddenly unsure of what to do with my hands. I should probably, go, before my car decides to serenade the entire parking lot again.
Probably.
She agrees, but neither of us moves. Right, going. Now. I take a step backward, directly into my open car door. Ow, who put that there?
The car ferry?
Lila suggests, pressing her lips together in that way I now know means she's trying not to laugh. Very funny. I rub my hip, trying to salvage what's left of my dignity. Just so you know, I'm usually much smoother than this. Ask anyone. Well, don't ask Sarah, or Jake, or anyone who's seen me try to use trekking poles.
Goodbye, Desmond,
She says fondly, shaking her head. I manage to get into my car without further incident, which feels like a major victory. Of course, I then try to start it with my house key 3 times before Lila taps on the window and points to my actual car key in my left hand. Driving home with aching legs and probably a few new scratches, a smile still manages to find its way to my lips. 6 weeks ago, I couldn't tell a trail marker from a tree blaze. Now I have a camera full of slightly out of focus waterfall photos, a growing collection of hiking boots, and something that feels a lot bigger than friendship with someone who makes every wilderness mishap feel like an adventure, even if I still can't identify poison ivy to save my life.
Chapter 6. Lila. The morning begins perfectly, perhaps too perfectly, which should have been my first warning. The sunrise paints the mountains in hues of watercolor pinks and golds. My camera battery is fully charged, and Desmond actually arrives wearing his properly broken-in boots.
No frying pan today either.
He announces proudly, showing off his reasonably sized day pack.
Though I did bring extra trail mix since someone always steals mine.
I don't steal it, I protest, adjusting my camera strap. I just help you lighten your load. Very thoughtful of me, really.
Yes, very thoughtful,
He says, winking at me before leaning in for a quick kiss. After last week's parking lot kiss and subsequent car alarm serenade, there's a new energy between us that's both exciting and slightly nerve-wracking. Things were a bit awkward at first. Sarah immediately guessed that something had happened based on the mooning looks, as she so eloquently put it, that we kept giving each other. She teased us mercilessly. Desmond and I have only shared a quick hello or goodbye kiss since then, but I wouldn't turn down a repeat of last week, minus the whole car alarm incident. We're attempting the Craggy Gardens Trail today, which is a bit more challenging than our usual routes. Sarah couldn't make it. Something about a real date that doesn't involve trail markers and mosquitoes. So it's just the two of us. The first mile passes in comfortable conversation. Desmond tells me about his latest work project, complete with elaborate hand gestures that nearly send him tumbling off the path twice. I update him on the blog's growing number of followers, though I skip over the 3 sponsorship emails sitting unanswered in my inbox. The familiar feeling of imposter syndrome has been creeping back in lately, doing a pretty good job of making me question my abilities.
Speaking of the blog,
Desmond says as we pause for water.
Did you see the Outdoor Trail magazine wants to feature your beginner trail guide?
I intently focus on retying my bootlace, which suddenly seems fascinating. Maybe adding him as an admin on my blog emails wasn't my best decision, but keeping up with everything on my own had become overwhelming. Desmond's good at handling the easy replies while making sure the important messages still reach me. Oh yeah, I saw that.
And
He's got that enthusiastic puppy look he gets when he's excited. It's usually endearing, but today it makes my stomach twist. And nothing. I haven't responded yet. I don't want to admit to the one person who fully believes in me that I'm back to feeling the way I did before I started the blog.
What? Lila, this is huge. Your photos are amazing. Your writing is engaging.
They probably just need content to fill space. I cut him off, standing up too quickly. We should keep moving if we want to reach the viewpoint before noon. But Desmond, clearly missing my obvious attempt to change the subject, continues.
You're doing that thing again. The thing where you downplay your talents. Your last post got over 1,000 shares. People love your honest take on...
Can we just drop it? The words slip out sharper than intended. Not everything needs to be monetized or turned into a brand or whatever. He blinks, taken aback by my tone.
That's not what I just thought you wanted to grow the blog. You mentioned wanting to monetize it and hope to start doing it. The blog, full-time eventually.
Yeah, well, maybe I was just dreaming out loud. I start walking faster, even though the trail is getting steeper. Not everyone needs to turn their hobbies into a side hustle. The coffee shop is a perfectly respectable job with guaranteed income.
Lila.
The light's perfect for shooting these rhododendrons, I say, pulling out my camera like a shield. You go ahead. I'll catch up. Through my viewfinder, I watch Desmond hesitate, clearly torn between giving me space and trying to fix whatever just went wrong. Finally, he resumes his journey up the trail, though his usual bouncing stride is noticeably subdued. I take several photos of the rhododendrons, none of which are particularly good. My hands shake slightly and an uncomfortable pressure builds behind my eyes. This is stupid. I'm being stupid. Desmond was just trying to be supportive, like always. But that's part of the problem, isn't it? His unwavering confidence in me only makes my own self-doubt feel even more pathetic. When I catch up, he's waiting at a trail junction, studying the map with exaggerated concentration.
Left for the viewpoint.
He says carefully, as if he's defusing a bomb.
Unless you want to take the longer route?
Viewpoint is fine. My voice sounds flat even to my own ears. We hike in silence for a while, the only sounds being our breathing and the crunch of boots on the trail. It's the first uncomfortable silence we've had since that initial hike when he wore his hydration pack backward again and brought nearly every supply known to man with him. The memory, usually guaranteed to make me smile, just adds to the heaviness in my chest now. At the next rest stop, Desmond pulls out his trail mix, the good kind with extra M&Ms that he always brings because he knows it's my favorite. When he offers me the bag, I shake my head.
Okay,
He says finally, letting the bag drop.
what's really going on? Because I know this isn't about the blog. Or maybe it is, but not just about the blog.
Nothing's going on. I fiddle with my camera settings, changing the ISO unnecessarily. I just don't want to talk about it.
Fine,
He shoulders his pack.
then we won't talk about it. Or anything else, apparently.
We continue climbing, the trail becoming steeper and rockier. Normally, this would be the point where Desmond would make some joke about mountain goats or pretend to need rescuing. Today, he just focuses on his feet, careful and quiet in a way that feels wrong. When we finally reach the viewpoint, it's stunning. The kind of view that usually has me scrambling for my camera while Desmond poses dramatically on rocks he probably shouldn't be climbing. Instead, I sit on a boulder and stare at the valleys below, my camera heavy and unused around my neck. Desmond settles on another rock, maintaining a careful distance. After a few minutes, he speaks softly.
You know what scared me most about moving to Asheville?
I don't answer, but he continues anyway.
Failing. I had a good job in Chicago, friends, a whole routine. Everyone told me I was crazy, moving here and starting over. They said working remotely would be isolating, that I'd hate the change, that I was throwing away a sure thing for some mountain town fantasy.
Despite my moment of self-criticism, I turn to look at him. He's gazing out at the view, his profile outlined against the blue sky. But you did it anyway, I say quietly.
Yeah, and some days I still wonder if they were right. If I'm just playing pretend at this whole mountain life thing.
He glances at me.
But then I think about who I'd be if I never tried, still in my Chicago apartment, scrolling through other people's hiking photos and wondering, what if?
The pressure returns behind my eyes, stronger now. It's different.
Is it?
He turns fully toward me.
Lila, you're already doing the thing. The blog, the photos. You're not pretending. You're just scared to admit how good you actually are at this.
What if I'm not? The words spill out before I can stop them. What if I get that magazine feature and everyone realizes I'm just faking it, that I only started hiking 2 months ago, that half my blog posts are about getting lost or wearing the wrong shoes or
bringing a frying pan on a 3-mile trail.
His lips twitch slightly. Despite everything, a laugh escapes me. You're never going to live that down.
Nope.
He scoots closer on the rocks until our shoulders almost touch.
But you know what? People love that story. They love it because it's real, because it makes them feel like maybe they can try something new too, even if they mess up sometimes.
I wipe my eyes with the back of my hand. When did you get so wise?
Probably around the time I got that poison ivy rash. Nothing like intense itching to bring clarity.
This time, my laugh is genuine and some of the tightness in my chest eases. I'm sorry I snapped at you.
I'm sorry I pushed.
He bumps my shoulder gently.
Even though I still think you're amazing and should absolutely do the magazine feature.
His hand slides over mine on the rock between us, tentative at first. When I don't pull away, his fingers intertwine with mine, warm and steady.
You know what else scares me?
He asks, tracing small circles on my hand with his thumb. Bears? Because that's actually a legitimate concern out here.
Well, yeah, obviously bears.
He grins.
But I meant this.
He squeezes my hand gently.
Us. Whatever this is becoming. Because I really like you, Lila, even when you're being stubborn about how talented you are.
The butterflies in my stomach have nothing to do with the cliff edge we're sitting on. I really like you too, even when you're being annoyingly right about things.
Can I get that in writing? Maybe notarized?
I pull out my camera with my free hand. How about a photo instead? To document the moment you admitted to being scared of something other than poison ivy.
Only if you promise to include it in your magazine feature?
I haven't said yes to that yet.
But you're thinking about it.
He says, and it's not a question. He knows me too well already. I lift the camera, adjusting the angle to include both of us with the mountains in the background. Desmond leans in closer, his shoulder pressed against mine, our hands intertwined in the frame. Just before I press the shutter, he turns and kisses my cheek, making me laugh and probably ruining the shot I intended to capture. You did that on purpose, I accuse, checking the photo on the screen. But it's actually perfect. Me laughing, him caught mid-kiss, and the late morning sun casting everything in warm light. It's genuine, imperfect, and completely us.
Maybe.
He admits.
But now you have photographic evidence of the exact moment you started to forgive me for being an overenthusiastic fanboy of your work.
We stay like that for a while, hands linked, watching hawks circle in the valley below. The tension from earlier has faded into something softer and more comfortable. Finally, I pull out my phone and open my email.
What are you doing?
Desmond asks, peering over my shoulder. Responding to that magazine before I lose my nerve. I start typing with my free hand, refusing to let go of his. But I'm including the frying pan story. People should know what they're getting into.
That's my girl,
He says softly, and the warmth in his voice makes me glad I'm sitting down. Then he ruins the moment by adding,
Though technically it's your fault I brought that pan. You're the one who mentioned pancakes before our first hike.
I was joking, and later I said I liked pancakes after hiking, not during.
Details.
He waves dismissively.
Now should we head back? I promised a trip at least twice to give you action shots for your blog.
Such dedication to my art, I say dryly, but I flash him a cheeky grin as we pack up. The hike down is easier, both physically and emotionally. Desmond keeps hold of my hand on the less treacherous sections, only letting go when the trail narrows or when he needs both hands for balance, which is often. True to his word, he provides plenty of comedic material for my camera, though I'm pretty sure at least one of his falls wasn't intentional. By the time we reach the parking lot, the site of last week's infamous car alarm incident, I've drafted an email on my phone to the magazine and taken several dozen new photos, including one of Desmond attempting to identify a plant he insists is definitely not poison ivy this time. It is definitely poison ivy.
Chapter 7. Desmond.
You want to climb what?
Lila stares at me over her coffee counter, her hand frozen mid-wipe on the espresso machine. Mount Mitchell, I repeat, trying to sound more confident than I feel. It's the highest peak east of the Mississippi. Jake says the trail is challenging but doable, and the weather's perfect this weekend.
The same Mount Mitchell I specifically told you not to attempt on your first hike?
Her eyebrows rise dramatically.
When you were wearing your hydration pack backward?
Exactly. I lean forward, warming to my pitch. Think about the symmetry. 3 months ago, I was a complete disaster who brought cooking equipment on 3-mile trails. Now I'm a slightly less complete disaster who can actually read a trail map. Character development. A small smile tugs at her lips.
And this sudden urge to tackle a serious mountain has nothing to do with my magazine feature coming out next week?
Pure coincidence. I lie smoothly, then cave under her knowing look. Okay, fine. I thought maybe reaching the highest point around here might be a good metaphor for you finally embracing how far you've come. Too cheesy?
Incredibly cheesy.
She confirms, but her eyes are soft.
Also, you do realize this is a 7.5-hour hike with minimal stops and significant elevation gain?
I've been practicing. I pull up my fitness app. Look, I even joined that running group again. I only had to stop to catch my breath 3 times on the last run.
Wow!
She deadpans.
3 whole times. Clearly you're ready for mountain climbing.
But I can see her considering it. She has that look she gets when she's composing a shot in her mind, imagining the possibilities. I press my advantage. Think of the photos you could get up there. Jake says on clear days, you can see forever. Plus, I add with my best attempt at puppy dog eyes, I bought us matching hiking poles. Professional ones. No more using random sticks I find on the trail.
That was one time!
One time too many. Come on, Li. Let me do this for you. We can pack extra trail mix. She studies me for a long moment, then sighs in what I call fond exasperation.
The good kind? With extra M&Ms?
Is there any other kind?
Fine.
She concedes, pointing her cleaning cloth at me threateningly.
But if we die up there, I'm haunting you forever.
Deal. I grin, already pulling up the weather forecast. Though technically, if we're both dead, it's not really haunting, it's just hanging out.
Desmond!
Right, sorry. Focusing on survival. I don't tell her I've been planning this for weeks. Studying the trail maps, actually. Breaking in new boots properly this time. After our tension on Craggy Gardens, I want to show her I believe in her. Not just with words, but with actions. Even if those actions might involve me wheezing up a mountain. Little do I know, the mountain has plans of its own. The trail starts innocently enough. The morning is crisp and clear, perfect hiking weather according to Jake's extremely detailed text messages that may or may not include hourly weather predictions and trail conditions. Lila's already snapping photos of the early morning mist rising through the trees, and I'm feeling pretty proud of myself for remembering everything on Jake's essential gear list.
You're sure you know where we're going?
Lila asks as we pass the first trail marker.
Because I distinctly remember you getting us lost on a loop trail last month.
That was a tactical deviation to find better photo opportunities, I defend, pulling out the map I've practically memorized. Besides, I've got this. Jake walked me through the entire route, twice. She peers at my map.
Are those little drawings in the margins?
Trail markers, I say proudly, and possible photo spots, and one sketch of a bear, but that was just to keep myself alert during Jake's 40-minute lecture on proper bear safety. The first 3 hours passed smoothly. Too smoothly, really. I should have known better than to feel confident about my improved hiking skills. That's usually when the universe decides to humble me. The humidity hits us first, thickening as we gain elevation. Then the clouds start rolling in, despite the forecast promising clear skies. I check my weather app and then the screenshots in my messages with Jake. My heart plummets. In my eagerness, I apparently checked the forecast for tomorrow as well as told Jake we were hiking on Sunday, not Saturday. Add this to yet another thing I will never live down, but maybe we can finish and return before it gets too bad and Lila will never know. At least this is what I keep telling myself with my fingers crossed.
Those clouds look a bit angry.
Lila observes as we pause for water. We're about halfway up and I'm trying not to show how my legs are already burning. They're probably just passing through, I say, with more optimism than meteorological expertise. Besides, I packed rain gear and emergency supplies, and a first aid kit that could probably handle minor surgery. She raises an eyebrow.
When did you get so prepared?
Around the time I realized I really didn't want to mess this up. The words come out more seriously than I intended, creating a shift in the air between us. Before she can respond, a distant rumble of thunder interrupts the moment. Okay, I consult the map again, trying to ignore how the wind is picking up and how I got this so wrong. We've got about 2 miles to the summit. If we keep a steady pace... The sky answers with another growl, closer this time.
Desmond!
Lila's voice takes on a tone that suggests I'm about to learn another valuable hiking lesson. We could make it, I insist, even as the first fat droplets of rain hit my map. I mean, we're more than halfway there, and I really wanted to show you...
Show me what?
She steps closer, taking the rapidly dampening map from my hands. That you can do anything. That you're stronger than you think. That... I'm interrupted by a crack of lightning that makes us both jump. Okay, maybe we should head back.
Wait.
She grabs my arm as I turn to descend back down the trail.
You did all this planning, all this preparation, just to prove something to me?
Well, yeah. I run a hand over my increasingly wet hair. After last week, I wanted to show you I believe in you. Not just with the blog stuff, but in everything you do. Though I admit this weather is really undermining my grand gesture. The rain is steady now, but Lila's looking at me like she's seeing something new. She steps closer, rain dripping from her eyelashes, and suddenly I don't care about the thunder or the failed hike or the fact that my carefully drawn map is dissolving in my pocket.
You're ridiculous,
she says softly before rising on her toes to kiss me. It's nothing like our first kiss in the parking lot. This one tastes like rain and adventure and something that feels a lot like falling in love. I wrap my arms around her, pulling her closer, and for a moment I can almost forget we're standing on a mountain in a thunderstorm, until another crack of lightning reminds us, rather dramatically. Right, I pull back reluctantly. Probably shouldn't be the tallest things on a mountain during a storm.
Probably not,
she agrees, smiling.
Though this might make a great blog post, how not to plan a romantic mountain gesture.
We start our descent, the trail slicker now with rain. I reach for her hand on the less treacherous sections and she lets me, occasionally stopping to photograph the dramatic storm clouds when the lightning gives us a break.
You know,
she says as we carefully pick our way down.
You didn't have to climb a mountain to prove you believe in me.
I know. I help her over a particularly slippery rock. But I wanted to. Even if we didn't make it to the top.
Yet.
She corrects.
We didn't make it to the top. Yet.
I look at her, rain-soaked and grinning, and something expands in my chest. Is that a promise?
Let's call it a rain check.
She squeezes my hand.
After all, I need something to write about for my next feature.
By the time we reach the car, we're thoroughly soaked, slightly muddy, and somehow closer than we were at the start. I might not have given Lila the triumphant mountaintop moment I planned, but watching her laugh as she wrings water from her hair, I think maybe this was better. So, I say as we load our dripping gear into the car, hot chocolate and coffee at Honey Ridge. I promise not to short out any electronics with my soggy presence.
Counter offer,
she says. That sparkle in her eyes that I've come to love is back.
My place is closer. I have dry clothes and I make better hot chocolate than I do coffee.
My heart skips a little, not because of the elevation. Deal, though I should warn you I'm still wearing my moisture-wicking layers like a proper hiker.
Congratulations!
She laughs, leaning across the center console to kiss me again.
You're finally learning.
My smile is so big now that I'm pretty sure my jaw muscles will be sore for a while. We drive down the mountain, the windshield wipers fighting against the rain, and I realize that sometimes the best views aren't from the summit at all. Sometimes they are sitting beside me, drenched, bedraggled, and happy.
Chapter 8. Lila. The early morning light streams through the windows of Honey Ridge, casting golden squares on the wooden floors. I'm seated at my usual table, the one by the window where this whole adventure began, but everything else feels different. My laptop is open to my blog's admin panel, the cursor blinking expectantly as Desmond sits across from me, already on his second cup of coffee.
10 things I learned from dating a hopeless hiker,
he suggests, grinning over his mug.
Number 1, Always check for frying pans before leaving the parking lot.
We're not calling it that. I laugh, though I've already started typing. And we weren't dating when you brought the frying pan.
Technically true, but you have to admit my complete incompetence was charming enough to win you over eventually.
I kick him gently under the table. Your enthusiasm was charming. The incompetence was concerning. The cafe is quiet this early. Just the gentle buzz of the espresso machine and Sarah humming softly as she preps for the morning rush. It feels right somehow to be writing this here. Full circle and all that.
What about finding your trail?
Desmond suggests more seriously this time.
It's about more than just hiking, right?
I pause, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. He's right. It is about more than hiking. It's about taking that first step, finding yourself in unexpected places, and learning to trust your own path, even if that path occasionally involves rescuing your boyfriend from poison ivy. Perfect, I whisper and begin to write. 3 months ago, I was a barista who took photos of other people's adventures through coffee shop windows. Today, I'm still a barista, but I'm also a hiker, a photographer, and apparently the kind of person who knows how to properly treat poison ivy rash. Sorry again, Desmond. This isn't a story about becoming an expert overnight. It's about beginning, about having the courage to be bad at something new, and about finding joy in the journey rather than the destination.
You're doing that thing again.
Desmond interrupts my writing. What thing?
That smile. The one you get when you're really proud of something but trying not to show it.
I touch my lips self-consciously. I don't have a specific smile for that.
Oh, you absolutely do. It's like your photography smile but softer, more secret.
He leans forward, lowering his voice conspiratorially.
I like it.
Before I can respond, the bell above the door chimes. A woman walks in, Hannah, one of our regulars, looking more subdued than usual. She heads straight for the counter without her usual cheerful greeting.
Tea today?
Sarah asks, concern evident in her voice. Hannah nods, clutching her phone like a lifeline.
Just need something calming.
I make a mental note to check on her later, but right now my screen demands my attention. Desmond leans over my shoulder to read, his chin practically resting on my shoulder.
You're going to mention the failed summit attempt, right?
He asks.
Because that thunderstorm kiss was definitely blog-worthy.
I'm getting there, I assure him, although I've already written that part in my head a dozen times. I'm pretty sure I could write a whole segment on the importance of checking the correct day on the weather app. Though, I might leave out the part where you shrieked when lightning struck.
I did not shriek. I expressed manly concern for our safety.
Right, very manly. In retaliation, he steals my scone. But I'm too focused on writing to protest. The words flow easier now as memories from the past 3 months spill onto the page. The first tentative steps on beginner trails, the gradual buildup of confidence, the way Desmond's enthusiasm made even our mistakes feel like victories. Sometimes the best views aren't from the summit. Sometimes they're found in morning mist on local trails, in shared laughter over wrong turns, in the quiet moments between adventures when you realize you're exactly where you're meant to be.
You're making me sound way more competent than I was.
Desmond comments, reading the latest paragraph.
What about the time I tried to use my phone's compass and walked us in a complete circle?
I'm focusing on the positive, I reply, but I add a line about learning to trust actual maps over technology. Besides, you've improved. You haven't misidentified a poisonous plant in at least 2 weeks.
Personal record.
He says proudly, then frowns at his phone.
Though I should probably get that weird rash on my ankle checked out.
Desmond!
Kidding, mostly.
He shows me his ankle.
See? Just a sock burn. I'm learning.
Sarah drops off fresh coffee and more scones, giving us her patented "you two are ridiculous" look. Behind her, Hannah sits in her usual corner booth, staring into her tea like it might hold answers. I'll ask Sarah to box up some of those chocolate croissants Hannah loves before she leaves. Returning to my screen, I continue writing, trying to capture the feeling of those first few hikes, the nervous excitement, the constant fear of looking foolish, and the way Desmond's complete lack of self-consciousness made it easier to laugh at our mistakes.
Oh,
Desmond perks up.
don't forget to mention the wildlife encounters.
You mean when you mistook that garden statue for a bear?
No, the other. Okay, yes, that one.
He grins sheepishly.
But in my defense, it was very realistic, and who keeps a bear statue on a hiking trail anyway?
It was someone's backyard, Desmond. We'd accidentally wandered off the trail.
Details.
He waves dismissively.
The point is, we survived many dangerous encounters with local wildlife.
We saw 2 squirrels and a very friendly golden retriever.
Exactly. Wilderness experts.
I shake my head, but add a paragraph about learning to respect nature, carefully omitting any mention of the garden statue incident. Some stories are better left for our private laughs. The morning crowd starts trickling in as I work on the conclusion. Desmond takes a work call, speaking in what I've dubbed his tech voice, while simultaneously trying to balance a spoon on his nose. How he maintains any professional credibility is beyond me. The truth is, I type, sometimes the best adventures aren't the ones we plan. Sometimes they're found in wrong turns and rain-soaked kisses, in learning to trust ourselves and others, in being brave enough to say yes to unexpected invitations.
Speaking of unexpected invitations,
Desmond says after ending his call,
Jake mentioned there's this really challenging trail next weekend.
the last time you said challenging trail, we ended up in a thunderstorm.
But what a great story it made.
He leans forward, eyes twinkling.
Come on, where's your sense of adventure?
Currently hiding behind my sense of self-preservation.
I'll bring extra M&Ms.
You already do that.
Double extra M&Ms?
I try to maintain a stern expression, but fail miserably. You're impossible.
That's not a no.
He points out, reaching across the table to tuck a stray strand of hair behind my ear. The gesture feels so casual, so natural now that it makes my heart flutter. Fine, I concede. But this time, we're checking the correct day's weather forecast, on multiple sources.
Deal.
His smile softens.
You know, for someone who was scared to start hiking, you've become quite the adventurer.
I had good motivation, I admit, glancing at my nearly finished blog post. And better company.
Even when that company insisted on bringing cooking equipment on every trail?
Especially then. I turn my laptop so he can see the final paragraphs. Want to do the honors? He reads the conclusion silently, his smile growing as he reaches the last line. He looks up at me with that expression that still makes my stomach do flip-flops.
It's perfect, just like its author.
Smooth talker.
I try.
He reaches for my hand across the table.
Ready to share it with the world?
I look around the cafe where it all started. Sarah manning the espresso machine, Hannah lost in thought in her corner, and the morning light painting everything gold. Then I look back at Desmond, who's somehow managed to spill coffee on his shirt already, despite it being barely 9 a.m. Ready, I say, and click publish. Desmond squeezes my hand.
So about that trail next weekend.
Let me guess, you've already packed the frying pan.
Please.
He scoffs.
I'm way more advanced now.
He pauses dramatically.
I packed a whole camp kitchen.
As I laugh and kick him under the table again, I realize something else. Sometimes the best stories aren't about reaching the summit or capturing the perfect photo. They're about finding someone who makes every trail feel like an adventure, even when you're just sitting in a coffee shop planning the next one.
You're thinking sappy thoughts.
Desmond accuses, somehow reading my expression. Never. I smirk and wink, but I open the trail map he already has pulled up on his phone. Now, tell me about this challenging trail, and please tell me it doesn't involve any bear statues.
No promises.
He grins.
But I did remember to buy bear spray this time.
Progress, I say dryly, but I'm already imagining the photos, the stories, and the adventures ahead. Real progress.
Epilogue. Desmond. 2 months later, Mount Mitchell looms before us once again, this time under crystal clear autumn skies. No thunderstorms in sight. I checked 4 different weather apps hourly for the past week, much to Lila's amusement.
You're being suspiciously well prepared,
she comments as I triple-check my pack.
Should I be worried?
Can't a guy just want everything to be perfect for once? My voice definitely doesn't crack on perfect. The small box buried under my extra layer of clothing definitely doesn't feel like it's burning a hole through my pack.
Desmond.
She puts her hands on her hips.
The last time you were this prepared, you accidentally booked us on an expert-level trail and were trying to soften the blow.
That was one time, I protest, and we handled those switchbacks like champs.
We had to be rescued by a church hiking group.
They were very nice about it. She shakes her head, but she's smiling that smile, the one that still makes my heart do backflips even after 5 months together.
At least tell me you didn't pack any cooking equipment this time. Lila. Something's up with Desmond. He hasn't tripped once in the first hour of hiking, hasn't cracked a single joke about bear statues, and keeps checking his phone's GPS like it holds the secrets of the universe. Okay, spill, I say during our first water break. What's going on?
Nothing.
He replies too quickly.
Just want to make it to the summit this time. For your blog, you know? Conquering the Mountain, a redemption story.
I narrow my eyes. The blog has taken off over the past few months, thanks in part to Desmond's constant stream of hiking mishaps providing endless material. But today, he's being careful. Too careful. You're acting weird, I tell him. Weirder than usual, even. He just grins and offers me trail mix. Extra M&Ms, of course.
Desmond. 2 hours in, and I'm starting to believe the ring is actually burning through my pack. Every time Lila looks at me, I'm convinced she knows. The proposal speech I've rehearsed for weeks keeps getting jumbled in my head. Hey, remember when we met and I was completely clueless about hiking? Well, I'm still pretty clueless, but I'd like to be clueless together forever. No, that's not it. You make every trail feel like an adventure. Better, but still not quite right.
Desmond?
Lila's voice breaks through my mental rehearsal.
You just walked past the most perfect photo opportunity without making a single pose suggestion.
Did I? I turn back, trying to look normal. I mean, we could go back. She puts her hand on my forehead.
Are you feeling okay? Do you need electrolytes? Should I call Jake? Lila. The summit is just as breathtaking as Jake promised. The autumn colors paint the mountains in vibrant reds and golds, stretching endlessly beneath the clear blue sky. I'm already framing shots in my mind when I realize Desmond isn't making his usual commentary about how majestic he looks against the backdrop. Instead, he's fidgeting with his pack, looking almost as nervous as he did on our first hike. Desmond? He jumps slightly.
Yes, I mean, hey, so, remember our first attempt at this mountain?
When we got caught in a thunderstorm? Kind of hard to forget.
Right, and remember what I said about wanting to prove something to you?
I slowly lower my camera. Desmond? He takes a deep breath and then promptly drops his pack, spilling its contents across the summit, including a small velvet box that rolls to a stop at my feet. He groans.
This is not how I planned this.
I pick up the box, my heart doing that familiar flip-flop. You planned something?
I had a whole speech.
He runs his hands down his face before throwing them in the air and gesturing around us.
About adventures and taking chances and how you make even my worst hiking disasters feel like victories. About how I want to keep getting lost and found with you forever. About how...
Yes, I interrupt. Tears already blurring my vision.
I haven't actually asked yet,
He points out, but he's grinning now. So, ask. He takes the box from my hands, drops to one knee, and immediately loses his balance. Because, of course he does. I catch his arm, both of us laughing.
Lila,
He says, still half stumbling.
will you marry me? even though I'm still terrible at hiking and probably always will be?
Because you're terrible at hiking, I correct, pulling him up to kiss him. Yes, absolutely yes.
Desmond. Later, after we've collected the scattered contents of my pack and Lila's taken about 100 photos for the blog, she insists, we sit at the summit, sharing celebratory trail mix.
You know,
She says, admiring how her ring catches the sunlight.
this is going to make an amazing blog post.
How not to propose on a mountain.
I was thinking more along the lines of finding your trail partner.
I pull her closer, breathing in the crisp mountain air and savoring the moment I want to remember forever. I like that better.
Though we should definitely mention how you dropped everything.
It's called creating memorable moments, I protest. I'm very good at those. She laughs, the sound that made me fall in love with her between wrong turns and rain-soaked kisses.
You certainly are.
A group of hikers reaches the summit, and I hear one of them say something about a bear statue on the trail. Lila and I exchange glances and burst out laughing. Some things never change, but some things, the best things, change everything. 1 week later. Tell me you didn't put the bear statue story in our engagement announcement, I groan, reading Lila's latest blog post.
Consider it revenge for the frying pan.
She says sweetly before kissing me, cutting off any chance I have to protest further. The late afternoon sun streams through the coffee shop windows, illuminating her hair in shades of red twisted with copper. She tastes like the caramel macchiato she's been sipping, and her hands are warm where they rest against my chest. Even after all these weeks, kissing Lila still feels like that first moment on the mountain, breathtaking, familiar, and thrilling. Her lips press softly against mine, warm and inviting, as if they've always been meant to fit this way. My hand slides to the curve of her jaw, feeling the delicate flutter of her pulse beneath my thumb. She leans into me, her fingertips grazing the back of my neck, sending a shiver down my spine. The world around us blurs, and all I can focus on is her, the way she tastes, the quiet sigh that escapes her, and the way she melts into my touch. When we finally pull apart, her smile reappears, the one that sparked this whole adventure, the one I want to spend the rest of my life trying to evoke. You know, I murmur, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, if you're going to silence all my protests this way, I might have to complain more often.
Don't push your luck, hiking disaster.
She whispers back, her eyes sparkling with a mix of love and mischief that I've come to cherish. Fair enough. After all, every great adventure story needs a few plot twists, even if those twists involve garden decorations and cooking equipment.
Thank you for listening to First Step to Love by Lani Evans. This book is available as a free ebook, and the link can be found in this video's description. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Remember Hannah? Her story is coming to audiobook soon. The ebook and paperback for Hannah and Evan's story, Trail to Her Heart, is currently available on Amazon. Lila and Desmond's story introduced you to the Honey Ridge Coffee Shop, which becomes a central location in the Blue Ridge Mountains Asheville series. It also introduced you to Asheville, North Carolina, and the beauty that is the Blue Ridge Mountains. In the next book, Trail to Her Heart, Hannah is finding herself after breaking up with a toxic, narcissistic boyfriend. She meets Evan, the guide for one of the local hiking groups. Hannah finds courage and friendship with the group. She learns to laugh again and gives herself permission to do the things she hadn't been able to before. Evan might just be the most green flag hero in a romance story. His patience in teaching Hannah how to get the best nature shots in photography makes him even more endearing. She's his sunshine, and he is her quiet strength. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and follow my social media pages to get notified when a new book is available. You can also sign up for my newsletter to get exclusive first peeks at the stories or covers. All links are below in the description. Keep an eye on this YouTube channel for more books in the Blue Ridge Mountains Asheville series and the Kittens and Kisses series. Kittens and Kisses are short insta-love novellas featuring grumpy sunshine with rescued kitten matchmakers. Thank you for your support.